Okay, here's my top 10 favorite breeds for eventing. The first 5 are for kids and amateurs, so they're going to be a little different than the top 5, which are going to be more for high performance. Number 10, halflingers. These cute little horses are actually very sturdy. They jump reasonably well, and they can put in a decent test. Most of them aren't going to compete higher than novice, but they're still a really good starter horse for people who want to do eventing. Number 9, Mustangs. I've seen some really amazing Mustangs. And the thing about a Mustang is they either break well or they don't. Some of them are a little bit wild and they kind of stay a little on the wild side. But when you get a good one, you can pretty much do anything. Again, it's a horse that may not get above novice, but you can get a lot of good mileage on a Mustang and you can do really well. We've had some great ones in the barn. Number 8, ponies. Everybody loves a good pony. Ponies are a great way for little kids to get started. Again, you want a decent pony, one that's going to be well behaved and not super naughty, but that's a great opportunity for young riders. Draft crosses. Draft crosses are great for an adult amateur, for anyone who wants that more stable ride, and they tend to have a flatter arc, so they're not going to jump really big and knock you out of the tack. They don't tend to want to run off. They're a little quieter dispositions, so they work really good for adult amateurs. Again, not usually going to move up too high up the levels, but for getting started, they're perfect. Aztecas. Now, an Azteca is an Andalusian quarter horse cross. Now, conformationally, it depends on how they're built, but I've had some tremendously successful Aztecas in the barn. They tend to have a really good dressage, they have a really good mind, and they jump really well. Again, those ones could go up a little higher in the levels, but they are a really good opportunity for a little bit more sporty type horse, a little more warm blood, maybe for less money. In all these horses, I want you to consider that conformation is a big factor. Horses are all built differently. Some are going to be built better than others, and that goes for every breed. There are exceptions to every breed. Just because I say a Mustang is good for eventing doesn't mean that every Mustang is good for eventing or is going to be successful in eventing. So you have to consider the conformation, the natural ability, and also the trainability of the horse. We want horses that are very trainable. Okay, on with the list. Now we're moving into the top 5, the more high-performance breeds. Arab crosses. I've seen some pretty amazing Arab crosses out there, whether it's Arab Thoroughbred or Arab quarter horse. They get a lot of presence. They're very athletic. They're quick thinkers. They can be a little bit on the hot side, but there's some pretty spectacular Arab crosses. Quarter horses and pain horses. Soft spot for my pain horses. With that quarter horse breeding, they usually have a touch of thoroughbred in them. They can have up to 3/4 thoroughbred and still be considered a quarter horse or a pain. There's also the running quarter horse, which is high on the thoroughbred and bred for racing. Those horses tend to be very good at eventing. They have a good brain. I consider them an American warmbloods, so they're great for an amateur. Warmbloods. Warmbloods, there's a ton of them. They are beautiful. They're fantastic. They're athletic. They are definitely going to probably cost you a little bit more money. They may also be a little heavier bodied and may have trouble making the time and covering the distance. So to keep that in mind, if you're really looking for an upper level horse, watch you don't get something that's super heavy. Irish sport horses. Love the Irish sport horses. Those Irishmen know how to breed a horse. They're usually very athletic. They have good bone. They usually have a lot of scope, and they do well in dressage. Again, you want to watch the build on the horse. Too heavy of a horse could eat up a lot of energy on cross country. But Irish sport horse is number 2. And now we're down to number 1. What do you think my number 1 favorite is? Of course, it's the thoroughbred. I love thoroughbreds. I love the thoroughbred brain. Yes, they can be hot. Yes, they can be challenging. And yes, they can take a lot longer to bring along because of those factors. But I find that their heart is huge. Their stamina is tremendous. And when you ask, they say how much. You say jump, they say how high. So I'm always going to be a number 1 thoroughbred fan. What's your favorite breed? And what would you like to ride cross country on? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear. Bye for now.